Welcome to Turnpike Sports. I'm Dave Weishottle, and as always, I'm joined by my producer and co-host, Doug Weishottle. Doug, usually I really love playoff football, but this weekend really sucked. Way too many blowouts.
Again, it's playoff football. The wild card round always has the more, I don't want to say interesting matchups, but it's the more
there's a lot
unpredictable matchups.
There's a lot of teams that maybe shouldn't have been in the playoffs, but were in the playoffs, and it kind of showed. But because a lot of these games were done at halftime.
A lot of these games were done in the first quarter.
Yeah.
Especially the Bills-Pats game. That was
Bills-Pats game was just Patriot fans are beside themselves. There's talk of up here doubting Belichick now. How dare they? It would be unthinkable 10 years ago what they were talking about right now. But
I have to admit, the fact that some of them are targeting his sons instead of him that's actually kind of funny if you think about it. If his sons are part of the defense, and that defense did not look good.
Well, look, their defense was historically bad. And when I say historically bad, I mean no other team has taken their 7 possessions and scored 7 touchdowns. So it's never been done before. It's never been done before.
If you look at the season as a whole, they keep pointing. The Patriot fans keep pointing to the fact that they were ranked in the top 5 defenses, which was crazy to me. But they did have that really great stretch at the beginning of the season when they did that 7-0 run. And
look, my Eagles did terrible too, and
so did Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh was just awful,
and then Arizona.
Arizona didn't even show up.
Arizona's got some issues, especially in the second half of the season. So it was just bad all around. But again, wild card round, that's when the most unpredictable instances of football happen.
Well, we got a great show coming up for you. We got Beatin The House segment. We have this week's playoff picks. We have a book report coming up. And then I'm talking with someone who's from the sportsbook you've all been hearing about, and that's MaximBet. I'm going to hear all about MaximBet when I talk with the Vice President of Communications and Brand for MaximBet, Doug Terfehr. Really interesting sportsbook. And honestly, as a guy from New Jersey, I can't wait till they come to New Jersey. It's been a busy week in sports, so let's take a trip down the Turnpike. Today's trip down the Turnpike is brought to you by Drizzly, your online liquor store. Available in over 95 cities across North America, Drizzly offers a huge selection and competitive pricing with a side of personalized content. Now there's no need to leave the house. Get alcohol delivered in less than an hour by Drizzly. Head on over to drizzly.com and order today. And now get $5 off your first order of $20 or more when using our promo code DRINK19 at checkout. Shop beer, wine, and liquor with drizzly.com.
Exit 1.
Now, with the end of the regular season, the NFL regular season, we get not only the playoff talk, we get the draft talk, we get even Pro Bowl talk from time to time. But
not for me.
But now we have the NFL Coaching Carousel.
I got to be honest with you. I knew a lot of coaches would be fired. I didn't think this many would be fired. Brian Flores, the head coach or the former head coach of the Miami Dolphins, was an absolute shock to me. 2 winning seasons and what should have been a playoff team. I think they were pretty good. And he gets fired. I'm absolutely shocked.
It's not only 2 winning seasons, possible playoff team. It was one of the better defenses I've seen in the league in a while.
Hey, they swept the Patriots, if that's still a thing, this year. So, he had a very good year.
I think there's always something with an ex-Patriots coach beating Bill Belichick.
Yeah,
I think there's always something about that. But, there's the Bears, the Vikings, Dolphins, Jaguars, Giants. We normally don't talk futures in this exit or even on the show, to be honest. We're not a hardcore gambling show. But it was just kind of interesting seeing now that the books are putting out futures for NFL coaching changes.
Yeah. I'm I know BetMGM, and I know MaximBet has some lines on some coaching changes. So it should be interesting.
I was actually surprised at some of these coaching names being thrown out there into these futures. I mean, you got the big ones, Flores, you got Harbaugh. You even have Josh McDaniels and Todd Bowles being thrown out there in some of these futures, but names like Doug Peterson is in the mix.
Yeah, he won a Super Bowl with the Eagles, so he should be in the mix.
Well, you also have Greg Roman, Kellen Moore from the Cowboys, which I think probably would be a really good fit in New York, by the way.
Maybe, yeah.
But Dan Quinn is there. Nathaniel Hackett. I remember his father with the Jets. He was the offensive coordinator for the Jets for a while.
I remember. Okay, yeah. All right.
Actually, we got a Gerard Mayo, the former New England Patriot linebacker. He's in the mix for some of these coaching jobs.
I heard talk about Houston, maybe. So
they're fascinated with Patriot coaches because they have the former player personnel there from the Patriots there. But again, some of these spreads or futures, I should say, like the Chicago Bears, we've got both BetMGM and MaximBet calling Brian Flores the favorite at plus 160.
I honestly think he should be the favorite for every team. I think what he did this year and the year before with the Miami Dolphins was really great. And I'm just, something must have happened behind the scenes. Something off the field must have been really.
Flores?
Yeah.
Flores supposedly could not get along with Tua, couldn't get along with the GM. There was some personality conflicts.
Well, that's kind of some of the reports we're hearing. But look, his performance on the field was outstanding. So
goes a lot to saying some of these teams want a coach that's engaging with the personnel more so than winning on the field. Obviously, because I would have dealt with the problems off the field if you were actually putting a team that's in the playoffs on in front of everyone. But I was surprised with BetMGM. Doug Peterson is the highest ticket for both the Vikings and the Dolphins.
Interesting.
I mean, I really, when this first started, I did not think of Doug Peterson whatsoever as a possibility.
I thought of Doug Peterson because just for the fact that last year he wasn't in the conversation for anyone, as far as I know, as being a head coach, and I thought he should have been. I mean, he won a Super Bowl, for God's sake, with the Eagles, and no one was talking about him last year for a head coach. I'm glad people are talking about him now.
Well, again, I really not too enthralled with Doug Peterson. I mean, he seems to win in spite of everything sometimes. But, he would not be my first choice as a head coach in most of these teams. Let's talk about New York. New York's interesting for a couple of reasons. Number one, they just launched mobile sports betting.
Yes.
And in terms of their coaching staff, Joe Judge did not work out for them. I thought maybe they would give him another year to see what. He lost Saquon Barkley for most of the year. Well, look, Daniel Jones was injured.
There was a report in New York that he was coming back for the next season. And then the last 2 weeks happened where he acted like a complete idiot in the press conferences. And then he has two back-to-back, quarterback sneaks, which
from their own four.
Yeah, I don't get what he was doing or what
he was just making room to do some major plays. I guess I don't know.
Whatever. But
he seemed to go a little squirrely.
But I think if those reports were right that he was going to be coming back the next season, something happened in those last 2 weeks. No, it was I don't think it was sustainable in New York after you hear the New York media and the New York fans talk about those last 2 weeks. So,
well, I'm very surprised that both MaximBet and BetMGM have shown different coaches as being the possible favorites in terms of the betting.
Okay. Well, what for the New York Giants?
For the New York Giants.
Who are they?
Well, for MaximBet, the top two candidates, according to their odds makers, are Josh McDaniels.
Okay.
At plus 200, and Nathaniel Hackett
at
plus 300. Which, Hackett, okay. McDaniels, I don't know if he's going to leave New England at all. He seems to be very content to wait for Belichick to leave.
Well, I've had this conversation a couple times this week, and, if you want to be a head coach, if you're a coordinator and you want to be a head coach, this is a great year to do it because you almost have your pick of teams. I mean, with 8 teams looking for head coaches,
yep.
I mean, when else are you going to have this kind of variety and this coaching buffet you can pick out your team for? But look, it'll be interesting to see what happens. Josh McDaniel has some baggage with regard to the Indianapolis Colts situation, so it should be interesting. So.
And for BetMGM, in terms of odds, BetMGM has Brian Daboll, the offensive coordinator for the Bills right now.
He is the hot coordinator.
Well, he was also.
I just heard a interview with a Minnesota Viking media person, and they mentioned Brian Daboll. I mean, during out of the blue, they would love Brian Dable in Minnesota.
Well,
so
Brian Dable is very familiar with the New York market.
Sure.
He was the quarterbacks coach for the Jets before going over to the Bills for offensive coordinator. And now he's, in terms of betting tickets, he's the highest ticket right now, according to BetMGM.
Someone told me he was on the staff of 9 NFL teams in 21 years, which is absolutely incredible.
And he can handle the New York market. That may be a good fit there.
Maybe,
I don't know.
Yeah.
But and also you have Jacksonville, that experiment with their head coach there coming into the league did not really work out for them, so they get rid of him.
For a coach, Jacksonville might not be a bad landing spot because, look, you have a very good quarterback, a very raw quarterback that you can mold, and, I think his ceiling is still pretty high. And by all accounts, the owner, Khan, he's a very good owner, regardless of what a lot of people say. If you talk to people on the team and the staff, they like him.
Well, they may be just hiring from within because they have Byron Leftwich there.
Well, I think that's a great fit.
So it'll be interesting to see where these.
When you have a young quarterback like Jacksonville, it might be helpful to have a head coach who was a quarterback.
Well, also Leftwich has been working with their quarterback,
sure.
So
I mean, it's a familiar
perfect
situation,
fit kind of thing. But again, two other teams that not many people are talking about. One just happened, the Texans.
Yeah, one and done. 1 year as a head coach.
It looks like their entire coaching staff is going to get the axe at some point.
Okay.
But another team that no one's talking about, and it's going to be really interesting to see what happens after the playoffs, is the Raiders.
Yes.
They have a temporary coach right now. I don't know if he's going to get the shot to be the head coach, but I guess if they win a playoff game, you got to give him that shot.
Hey, look, he got them to the playoffs in a very, very difficult year, and I'm talking about off the field. So,
that little incident with Gruden.
He really kept the team together, and he got them to the playoffs. So, I hope he gets considered for a permanent job.
I hope he gets the Raiders job.
Yeah.
He did the
well,
work.
That's what I mean. I hope
put
he gets
the work in there
for a permanent job at the Raiders. Yeah.
Well, again, check your odds as the offseason goes along. This will be kind of interesting to watch, especially some of these teams like the Texans, the Raiders, and even the Giants.
Yeah, I got to take a closer look at this. I mean, I might throw some money down on one of these coaching candidates. Who knows?
I mean,
it's an interesting bet.
Like I said, I may pop some money down on Leftwich to the Jaguars and Flores, maybe even to the Bears.
The Jaguars, is he the best odds?
He's the highest ticket.
Okay.
Also, he is also the highest handle.
Oh, okay.
And also the book's biggest liability.
Okay, well, I guess everyone's going with Byron Leftwich.
Well,
okay.
It's kind of common sense.
It's logical.
Yeah.
I mean, let's see if that happens.
Exit 2.
Going from the NFL to eSports, the company G2 Esports is now expanding their reach as in terms of not just doing the esports tournaments, they are launching their own music label.
Really? Okay.
It's going to be called G2 Music.
Now, is this music just for the games?
No, they're just going to be doing...
Oh, okay.
They're going to incorporate it into the games, yes.
Hey, what was that? You showed me a YouTube channel that... Well, I think it was a YouTube channel that had... They did digital music from popular music. Am I saying this right?
There are multiple channels on YouTube that do 8-bit versions, arcade game versions of popular music.
Yeah, if you have a popular song, they'll do a like an 80s style video game version of it.
Game Boy and
I'm sure
Atari.
This is not what G2 eMusic is. Esports music is doing, I'm sure of it, but no, that just struck me.
G2 Music has already released a power metal track.
All right.
I'm sorry, an epic power metal track.
Got
to have the word epic in it because
okay.
it's power metal, called Our Way. This is the first release of G2 Music, the label. It's a power metal track that recognizes the lessons of defeat as much as it celebrates each victory.
Oh, okay.
That's directly from their press release. The CEO of the company is one of the artists in the music video. It's got a whole bunch of different power metal people in it. not the main guys. It's no Metallica, no Megadeth, nothing like that. Nothing like what we grew up on, but modern day power metal people.
Okay, all right.
And it's based upon their previous season in 2021, where they failed to make the League of Legends championships.
So that's what this song "Our Way" is about.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. It's going to be
the best songs come out of defeat and pain, and tragedy.
Epic metal.
They always have the best music and the best lyrics when it comes out of tragedy.
If you're a power metal fan, tragedy and drama always creates the best music.
Yeah.
But it's going to be also launching. It's part of a launch for their new playing jersey, the jersey the team's going to be wearing during this upcoming season, and it's in partnership with Adidas.
Okay.
Let me say the G2 players are also going to are also in the video, which has been released.
Okay.
The video even has a storyline. The players in the video are wearing the new shirt, the Adidas shirt. So this is product placement to the nth degree.
Sure. Hey, why not?
As they're hunted down by a shadow demon.
Okay.
After they steal an ancient artifact.
So this is a video somewhere? This is
a video. You can just search it, G2, go G2 RY. It's up there. I've actually heard the song. It's kind of interesting. It's a little bit more heavier than,
Have they tried to get it on MTV, or if MTV is even a thing anymore?
MTV doesn't.
Remember when the MTV used to have videos?
Anymore.
Yeah. Remember when they used to have videos?
They don't do too much. They do a lot of teen drama shows now, which is kind of weird. But anyway, they're launching this new G2 music. It's a brand new music label. It's expanding the reach, and I think it's a great idea. I think
it's great.
There are a couple of actual real sports teams. I mean, not the eSports teams, but actual sports teams overseas that have launched their own record labels to great success. And I think, this is kind of really an interesting way to not only get G2 in front of a non-eSports public, but also to launch products.
Sure. I'll search for it.
By the way, they are selling the shirt, too, online.
Okay.
So this is all about product. And I think it's a great idea to do it. It's very unique, very interesting, and a very entertaining video if you watch it.
I want to check out what the Shadow Demon looks like.
Well, it's actually a really cool video.
Okay.
Again, the music is not to my taste. It's a little heavier than I do love Metallica. I do love Megadeth. I love Halloween.
Is it one of those songs where the drums are going a mile a minute? Is that the thing? Okay.
So it's also sort of a ballady type too, segments and all that. So there's it's a big mashup of genres.
Okay.
How's that for a phrase?
All right. I'll check it out.
Exit 3.
We're going to talk Rumble Kong League now.
Oh, I don't even know what that means.
Rumble Kong League. It is a brand new company out there that is launching a brand new eSports virtual game, 3-on-3 basketball. And they just got their first seed of funding, $4.5 million.
Okay.
But what's so special about this is right now for sale, they have NFTs where in order to play this game, you have to purchase the NFT for it to be your avatar.
I was wondering where an NFT would pop up in one of these stories. So for the Rumble Kong League, they have an NFT.
Not even launched company yet.
Okay.
They just got their seed money. But they're going to be selling their NFTs. They're going to drop 10,000 programmatically, whatever. They're going to have 10,000 NFTs that actually have coding in them, where when you purchase it, that becomes your avatar. Plus, also, these avatars the NFTs, I should say, not the avatars, but the NFTs will also contain power boosts. So you can incorporate that in your game when you play on this 3-on-3 league.
Okay.
So it's going to be kind of interesting to watch. This is another way NFTs are being used in different fashions and different forms. But again, they're talking about $100,000 per NFT.
Wow. Are you kidding me?
Well, you get to play in the league.
Oh, okay.
You'll be playing against... There's also professional people involved in some of these leagues. You're going to be getting leagues and tournaments with this. You got branded fashion that are in-game wearable on your avatar. You're going to have wearables, banners.
Okay, when you say in-game fashion, it means
your monkey.
You personally are not wearing a shirt. Your character.
You will be able to. You can purchase them,
all
but
right.
you can also put it on your avatar when you're playing this game. It's called a play-to-earn game, which is another variation on if you play in the tournament, you earn rewards, whether it's cash prizes, other types of prizes. It's kind of an interesting way to do it. But again, this is where it's a video game. To gain entry into the video game, you have to buy an NFT for you to actually participate in this league.
Huh. Okay.
And it hasn't even launched yet.
It sounds interesting. I mean, I'm going to check it out, but I still have to get my head wrapped around NFTs. We should launch a line of NFTs. I don't know what we do, but we should do an NFT line.
Well, these will be very unique too. I want to throw this out before we leave this exit. They're going to have all these 10,000 NFTs are going to be based upon over 100 different hand-drawn images. There's going to be unique differences in each one of them that will make every avatar different than the other, even in the slightest fashion.
Now, are these kind of the NFTs that will grow in value as time goes on, or what are you
They
think?
possibly could, because
Okay.
what you can do with these NFTs, you can sell your membership.
Okay, all right.
You when you purchase this NFT for 100,000, whatever the cost is when it actually drops, you can actually then at some point trade or sell that NFT and that avatar, and you're standing in that league, to somebody else.
Okay.
So it's going to create a whole bunch of different little aspects of a video game in terms of how you can play, where you can play, who you can play, all that.
Exit 4.
And last but not least, we're going to be talking about the NFL again. We started the rundown with an NFL story. Now we're going to be talking about the NFL getting more deeper into the event side of their business. There was a company that they called On Location Events that the NFL had created back in 2004. And it was to actually run the I don't want to say the sideshows, but the
The sideshows?
Yeah, the events and activations around the games.
Well, I
in
mean,
the stadiums.
When NFL has them, I mean, certainly the Super Bowl is an event because there's so much going around the Super Bowl. The draft is a big event. They have a lot of things going on around the draft and the Pro Bowl and things like that.
And the Super Bowl and the playoffs,
yeah.
everything associated, the hospitality events, there's the phrase.
Sure.
The hospitality events surrounding NFL games.
It seems like more and more concerts are going on around NFL events. So certainly you need an entity like this for the NFL to plan these things.
Well, like I said, they had created this, and in 2015, it was taken over by Redbird Capital Partners, who then spun it off to Endeavor.
Okay.
The NFL maintained 13.5% ownership of it, even after spinning it off. Mm-hmm. Now they have gone back to it, and they have now increased their ownership back to 45%.
Okay.
And it's kind of interesting. On Location Super Bowl. Let's do the Super Bowl bundle that they've been talking about. Super Bowl bundles start at $5,900 per package.
This is for people who want to go to the Super Bowl.
Right. It includes the parties and
sure.
The hotel rooms, that sort of thing. I think a couple of the former NFL players have a cigar party.
Sure.
And,
sure.
people get access to that with some of these bundles. Pro Bowl packages, minimum $2,000.
Which, by the way, isn't bad for a trip to the Super Bowl. Yeah.
What, $5,900?
Yeah, well, there's so much things to do. I mean, this is a week-long event that they have there.
Depends on the package, yeah.
Well, yeah, it depends on the package. I mean, $5,900, I guess, is at the high end of it, but you can...
No, these are the minimums.
Oh, these are the minimums.
Minimums.
Okay. Well, it's still not too bad.
It's
How often do you go to a Super Bowl?
It's probably just one event associated, but also you get a game ticket.
Yeah,
something like
great.
that. I think there are probably packages where you get so many different packages. You could probably make your own package with this company. But the one thing I was thinking about when I saw this, it's not only in terms of the event business, but also now with the NFL partnering with sportsbooks. Can you imagine the sportsbook activation parties?
Oh, sure.
That the NFL is going to have a chunk of?
I'd be very curious to see what the sports books do around the Super Bowl. If they have I'm sure they're going to have their own parties. I'm sure they're going to have their own events. I'm sure they're going to have their own contests. I think it's going to be great for the league, too.
Well, if they want to do anything with the NFL, they got to deal with this company.
Sure, I'm sure they will. I mean, look,
the NFL is going to be making money from so many different areas.
That's why they make deals with the NFL and the teams.
And that's why the NFL jumped in on all the sports betting once it became, logical to do so for them.
Mm-hmm. And today's trip down the Turnpike was brought to you by Drizzly, your online liquor store. Available in over 95 cities across North America, Drizzly offers a huge selection and competitive pricing with a side of personalized content. Now there's no need to leave the house. Get alcohol delivered in less than an hour by Drizzly. Head on over to drizzly.com and order today. And now get $5 off your first order of $20 or more when using our promo code DRINK19 at checkout. Shop beer, wine, and liquor with drizzly.com.
And as always, you can get in touch with Turnpike Sports by calling or texting us at 609-512-5910. That's 609-512-5910. At Turnpike Sports is the show's handle on Facebook and Twitter. At Turnpike Sports Radio is our handle on Instagram. And as always, our email address is info@turnpikesportsradio.com. And don't forget, you can listen to the show via Spotify, Amazon Music, iTunes, radio.com mobile app, as well as Stitcher and YouTube. You can also watch us on your smart TV, Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV. Head on over to turnpikesports.net. You'll be able to watch our video channel there.
Well, we got a great show coming up. We got a Beatin the House, and then we got our playoff picks for this week. We also have a book report. But right after this, I'm talking with the Vice President of Communications and Brand at MaximBet. It's an incredible new sports book. It's just doing amazing things in the market. The Vice President's name is Doug Terfehr, and I'll be talking with him all about MaximBet when we come back with Turnpike Sports.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited.
They do not give up until you pay.
They put a lien on my house.
How about you? Do you owe back taxes? Call Tax Solutions now and get some help. For a limited time, the IRS offers a tax forgiveness program called the Fresh Start Initiative. Our team can make it easier for you to pay back taxes, avoid tax liens, and get a fresh start. Sometimes you just need a second chance.
I call Tax Solutions now, and they got the IRS off my back.
At Tax Solutions Now, our affiliates are all accredited by the Better Business Bureau and members of the National Association of Tax Professionals.
We saved our home and overcame the most powerful collection agency in the world.
Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now. Call 800-299-1132. 800-299-1132. 800-299-1132. 800-299-1132.
Free stuff is awesome, but free stuff that will spice up your bedroom is even better. Just go to adamandeve.com and select almost any one item for 50% off, and then we'll load on the free stuff. Just enter this very exclusive code, BABE16 at checkout, and you'll get 10 tantalizing free gifts, including a sexy item for him, a special toy for her, and a third item you'll both enjoy. And 6 extra special bonus items that are sure to rev your engine, pique your curiosity, and even blow you away. Plus, free shipping! Always sent in discreet packaging. Go to adamandeve.com now. Get 50% off plus the 10 free gifts when you enter the exclusive offer code BABE16. That's BABE16, because without it, no free stuff. That's BABE16 at adamandeve.com.
During these difficult times, we understand how important it is to stay healthy and safe. With so many of us confined to our homes and not being able to work, we feel the financial burden more than ever. Many folks lost their jobs and businesses. Others were furloughed, and some are working from home at reduced pay. Keeping up with your bills is not easy under these circumstances. If you have credit card debt and cannot keep up with your monthly payments, we at Debt Fix Pros are here to help. Give us a call to see how we can reduce your interest rates and lower your monthly payments. Protect your credit and let us help you find a solution that fits your needs. We, your friends at Debt Fix Pros, are here to help. Let us take care of your credit card debt so you can focus on what is really important. Call for a free phone consultation at 800-919-6011. 800-919-6011. That's 800-919-6011. 800-919-6011. United we stand.
Welcome back to Turnpike Sports. I am Dave Weisschadel. I'm excited to talk to our next guest because I'm a fan of Maxim Magazine. And now this great magazine is also a great sports book called MaximBet. MaximBet launched in Colorado a couple of months ago, and I haven't stopped hearing about it. And now we're going to find out all about it because on the line we have MaximBet's Vice President of Communications and Brand, Doug Terfehr. Doug, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. Good to meet you, Dave.
Meeting you, and I'm glad you're on because months ago I heard something called MaximBet was going to launch, and my first question to everyone was, "You mean like the magazine Maxim?" And I was thrilled to find out that it was the magazine Maxim jumping into the sports betting industry. So, how did MaximBet come about? How did the magazine become a sports book?
Well, thanks, and I'm glad you're hearing things about it, and what your perspective is so common that I think many people have some familiarity or a lot of familiarity with Maxim. Doesn't matter what your generation is. If you're 25, 35, 45, or 55, you have some sort of connection to Maxim. And so there's that immediate understanding I know what Maxim is. Yeah, I know what they do. I know who they target. I sort of understand them. I know they have a lifestyle brand. I know they do these events. They at one time had a printed magazine. They still do. They're online. They have 40 million monthly viewers to their digital website. So there's some connection to it. And so how they got into it, you saw a bunch of media companies getting into the space. Mm-hmm. But maybe there was a little bit of a gray area outside of sports. Lifestyle. People talk a lot about a lifestyle brand and getting people involved in cultural relevance. And that's kind of the role that Maxim has played historically, is letting you know what are the cool things, 10 best trips to go on to with your fiance, or here's the 10 best bourbons for you to try, or if you need new skis, make sure you get these 5, or try out these K2s or whatever it is. They're always kind of on the cutting edge of what's culturally relevant. Mm-hmm. And obviously what's very relevant to many people right now is sports betting. Yeah. It's relatively new in this country, and they and as well as us, we saw an opportunity to work together and to kind of bring a new perspective to the sports betting space that just wasn't hard-hitting, only an app where you went for one thing, and that was to place your bets. No, why don't you come into a lifestyle and a culture where you get to go to events, you get to go to parties, you get to have meet and greets with celebrities, kind of the things that Maxim is known for, and that's how the relationship came together.
I'm curious. The fact that Maxim was so famous and has brand recognition as a magazine, did that make your entrance into the sports betting industry easier or more challenging? I mean, certainly everyone knows Maxim Magazine, but everyone doesn't know it as a sports book. Is part of the challenge convincing the public to think of you in a slightly different way in a different industry?
I think your first point about that there's that brand familiar name is a major advantage. Like you hear Maxim and you have the immediate connection. If this was another name, come up with anything you want. There's not like, oh, what is that? Okay, that's a sports book. How does that compare to the one maybe I'm already using? Or I know that there's this one. Or so, there's no immediacy of understanding maybe what that brand stands for. So that's a major advantage. The crossover to sports, will take time, but it's, it'll take time for it to be understood as this very down and into the sports industry and very familiar to the sports fan. But that's a fun challenge as a marketer, as a team, is just how do you cross over from being a cultural brand to one that understands sports, because there's nothing more relevant and for most people than sports. It's the only thing we still watch live. We don't record that and watch it later. We want to see it happen in the moment, so it's always so relevant to people. So that crossover opportunity is really fun for us to bring in an even stronger and broader sports audience into the Maxim business.
Now, Maxim partnered with Carousel Group, which is an incredible company in the gambling industry. What was the goal for the two companies? What were they hoping to achieve with the creation of MaximBet?
So, there's kind of the sea of sameness. We recognized a sea of betting category where what would get you to bet from one brand to another when their focus is really the same, kind of that top line acquisition, top of funnel, bringing you into the business, but what was really going to be separate, what was really going to separate you? They were all sort of seen as sports brands. What we felt with Carousel and Maxim coming together is we could fit an entirely different category. That what you were joining was more than just a sports book. You were joining an experience. We were going to bring, you're familiar with the event that we held in Colorado on Halloween Eve called our MaximBet Masquerade. It had Fat Joe there, had Cheat Codes, which is a big DJ group. And we threw a party for our players. Like, we want to bring them into experiences, giving them money can't buy experiences, how we phrase it, so they can sort of not just be rewarded with more free bet credits or things like that everyone else traditionally does. Let's give them experiences. Let's give them swag. We gave away a bunch of Xboxes there. We gave away a bunch of other technology and merch. Let's reward the players that are already with us and invest in experiences for them, because that word of mouth and that experience that they have, they're going to share that with their friends. They're going to share it on social. They're going to talk about it like, oh, I went to this MaximBet party. It was awesome. There was this, this, and this. I got this. It was free this. And, it's really like buying into or becoming a little bit more of a bigger brand than just the functional side of I only use it to find my odds and place my bets.
Now, as you said, a couple of months ago, you went live in Colorado. I mean, as a company, how has these first been for MaximBet? I mean, have you achieved the early goals that you wanted to achieve when launching the sportsbook in the Colorado market?
We love the customers that have come into the business. It sounds like you're pretty familiar with the brand. We're going to be soon in New Jersey firsthand.
I have questions about that, too.
People recognize the difference in our care for the customers that we have and the attention and retention that we have for the customers that we have. So that has been incredibly promising. The month-over-month growth of the business, the success of referrals between our current customers bringing in more of their friends and family and things like that. Those are things that are really difficult to get, and we're beginning with a brand that is doing that. So those from all of those measures, from just kind of the month-over-month growth, the number of players, the participation level that we have week over week, and our ability to retain our customers has been exciting.
Like you said, I'm sitting here in New Jersey, and I've been constantly hearing about the Colorado market. Tell me about the Colorado market. How is it? Because everyone has been saying, boy, just Colorado is so great. It's growing. It is so sports betting. What do you think of the Colorado market?
Well, what a progressive state. Obviously, if you look at other industries and other things that they were first to allow or first to legalize, they're just a progressive state. They are incredibly accommodating. They want to have room and success for all the brands. They understand the differences too of maybe why we want to do some things that maybe another brand doesn't, versus just kind of treating everyone exactly the same on how they view some decisions or some potential markets that we want to launch. So just the progressiveness of the state and their flexibility and willingness to work with all of us has been exciting. And then obviously the state itself talks a lot about the benefit of the sports betting businesses being in the state. What that taxes goes for, how it's done so much with water relief in the market, in the state. So they get it, and we're appreciative of it, and it's a perfect first state for us.
In the last couple of weeks, this country has really seen the destruction that wildfires has caused in Colorado, and MaximBet is doing something really great to help the people through this difficult time. What is MaximBet doing in response to what has occurred in Colorado?
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head there. Is we want to help our community. We really feel like a local sports book. It's the state launch, and obviously, hopefully, everyone's familiar with the devastation that the city of Denver experienced over the new year with 35,000 families and people being displaced from their homes. And so, we saw essentially an obligation as being an operator in that market to help. And so we did a few things. We invited our current players to make donations to the relief effort, to which we would match their donation, as well as give them that same amount of their donation in just free bet credits to come on over. So if you're going to spend your money on a much more important cause, do that. We'll match it as well as give you some free bet credits on our site. And then on top of that, we made a $10,000 donation ourselves.
You know, I'm reading about all the great things MaximBet is doing. I love the fact that you have become so involved in the community through the charity work you're doing, and also the fun stuff too. I read about that. You talked about the Halloween party and the great things you're doing. When people sign up in Colorado for MaximBet, what kind of special offers can the people of Colorado can expect when they go with MaximBet?
Yeah, well, our Max Rewards program, which is essentially where the events and experiences fit into, is a big part of the brand now and will be an even bigger part of the brand in the future. Like I said, our approach is a little bit different. You see a lot of the category just dumping a ton of money into that top of funnel. Just bring in new players. But they're not doing it. They're not maybe doing enough to take care of the customers that they have.
Yeah.
And that's why you see a lot of categories like flippers. They go to one and they go to another, and then this one's offering a higher, welcome bonus. So there's not a lot of loyalty. So we're beginning from a loyalty perspective. That's why we have events. That's why we haven't launched it yet, but we're going to have a shop basically where our rewards members can go in there and instead of just getting free bet credits, how about getting a bourbon glass that has MaximBet or their name on it or something like that, or be able to get some merch and swag and things like that, or what a part of our loyalty program is, turn in your points for 3 laps in a Lamborghini in your favorite city and things like that, and we'll take care of that for you. So just more experiential. The brand's backbone has always been experiences and culture, and we obviously wanted to integrate that into the sports book.
One of the great things about the sports betting industry is that it keeps getting bigger and bigger and expanding to other states. And I read recently that you have done a partnership for the Arizona market. Tell me about your plans for Arizona and what can we expect Max to launch in Arizona? Yeah, so that was exciting. That was one of the first things we did under the MaximBet umbrella. And once the state allows more sports books to legalize in that market, which we think will come hopefully in 2022, to launch with our partner tribe there and be another sports book with our different approach. So that's a very exciting market for us. Prior to that, Iowa and Indiana will launch at the end of February, New Jersey shortly thereafter. We have market access in Ohio and Pennsylvania. We have 3 or 4 other states that we haven't announced yet. So we'll be one of the most active sports books in 2022 in terms of new market access. So those are exciting times for us. We're fine-tuning so much with what we're learning from our customers and our players in Colorado, and we can't wait to apply that to our new states. Well, like I said, I'm sitting here in New Jersey, and I can't wait for you guys to launch in Jersey. I can't wait to jump on your site. But I'm curious, when it comes to individual states, each one is unique and different. When it comes to its laws, everyone is very unique in its makeup. New Jersey and Pennsylvania have a very crowded sports betting market. New York is #1 media market in the country. However, the tax rate is much higher than other states. When you look at expanding to different states, what is your plan for which states you want to target and expand into? What goes into the determination of how you want to expand your product in the U.S.? A few things. One of the biggest is, can we be a differentiator? Is there space for a brand like ours? All of our research indicates that people will have 3 or 4 different, and the space that we want to carve out is the one that they want to talk about. Oh, you guys aren't on MaximBet yet? Oh yeah, they do these events. They sent me this welcome kit when after my first bet. They do all these their customer service is incredible. Everything we do is customer first, and if we feel that approach in that market can be a success, we'll do that. That's a market for us. The other thing is, and you're probably aware of this as well, is we have a multi-year and multi-state agreement with Caesars, where we are provided another skin or another license in a state where Caesars has access. So Caesars gets access to a state, we are provided access if they get more than one skin in that state because they have more than one casino in that state, for example. So that's an incredible partnership. It's a big advantage for us. And so that's obviously a part of our decision as well is, if our friends at Caesars are getting market access there and it's another one that makes sense for us, we'll jump all over that. You know, I talk to a lot of sportsbook operators, and without fail, one of the places they are looking to is Canada. Does MaximBet have any plans for Canada now that it has single event sports betting?
Absolutely. Absolutely. We cannot wait for Canada. It's so exciting. So exciting. All of these markets, as things come online and things become legalized, it's exciting. I mean, the demand is there. People can't wait for the opportunity to experience all these brands, especially if you've just been hearing about them and haven't been able to have that firsthand experience with them yet. Canada is a major part, and Ontario is a major part of our future, not only because it's such an incredible market. It's a very mature market. There's definitely the education level there is much different than in the United States. But at the same time, we actually on our team have a ton of people that have Canadian roots. So they really understand the market. They've done a lot of business within the industry in Canada. So from all of those angles, we cannot wait for that opportunity. And we fully anticipate being one of the first operators there.
You know, sports betting is new to a lot of people, and as the sports betting industry expands, more and more people will be trying it out for the first time. And a great thing that MaximBet is doing is that it has free-to-play sports gaming app. What is that, and how do people play on it?
MaximBet Play, it's available in any app store. So if you're an iOS or you're a Google or Android user, just put in MaximBet Play and you'll find it. And it's so fun. It's addictive. It's simple. It's fast. And what we do, it's just we release different games and pick this or pick that. And the technology of it and the experience is really cool compared to like having to pick between A, B, C, and D. It's a swipe technology where you can just swipe right. And then that allows you, it's just more interactive. It's the gamification of all things now. It's really, really fun. It kind of taps into that behavior that people have with other games. But from a business perspective, we obviously see it as a way for people a softer side to get into, how do I pick things and what are the different types of things that maybe one day I could bet on and things like that. So we see it as a way, this might be all you ever want to do and it's just super fun and we give away prizes for every contest and game that we're running. Or this might be a way of like, let me understand this a little bit more before I make my way over to a more traditional app or a traditional site. So the success of that, we launched it in between Christmas and New Year's. It's been really exciting. We gave away $10,000 away. We haven't given it away yet because it finishes on the national championship.
Okay.
But we called it the Crystal Bowl. It was predicting the college bowl games. Who could have had the best crystal ball basically and could do the best predictions. And the winner of that, the total prize pool for that will be $10,000. So the amount of engagement we've had in that has been really, really fun. I'm participating, can't win, but I'm sucked into it even myself.
Let me ask you something about the great things you guys are doing at MaximBet. I know all the sports books I play on here in New Jersey have an online casino attached to them. Does MaximBet have any plans for an online casino platform, and what are your plans with regard to expansion in the online casino market?
It makes so much sense from a business perspective and from a consumer perspective. People love it.
Yeah, they
love it. They're entertained by it. It's we absolutely will be fast following our sports book with a casino game. In fact, in Pennsylvania, that's what we're with. So look for more news from us around our casino soon.
MaximBet made news a few weeks back with its name, image, and likeness deals in Colorado. Initially, you made it exclusive to female athletes 21 or over in Division 1, 2, or 3 colleges in Colorado. NIL deals are very new in the sports world, and I think it's a great idea. Can you explain this deal a little more and what it make?
You bet. So a couple of things there. This was, again, Colorado was our first state, and we wanted to connect with the community. We wanted to demonstrate that we are a part of that community, and the way that we felt was fitting of our brand was to be the first brand that rewarded, college athletes for what they a long time should have been a benefit that they received because of their popularity, and that was the name, image, and likeness. So for us, the side of the athletic space that hasn't maybe benefited as much from NIL so far has been the female athletes. So for us, we wanted to even the playing field. It felt like the right place for us to begin with offering that exclusively to female athletes. And regardless of division, a Division III athlete at a school in Colorado is just as influential on her campus as the Division I athlete is on her campus. And often their reach could be even more just because the way social media is and their amount of followers that they have or their amount of engagement and closeness that they have maybe on a smaller campus. So we saw both of those things as a great opportunity for us to operate very locally. And we're not asking that student athlete to go out there and say, hey, bet on this game or check the odds of this, or, we boosted odds in this way. It was really just to introduce our brand to the community. They're doing this. They provided me with this swag. Would you like to get your own? Follow for a chance to get your own T-shirt or your own backpack or whatever it was. Not requiring them to be experts or doing anything that talked about sports betting. It was more about the brand and bringing them into the experience, because that's what really our business is more about, is this overall experience. So far so good on that. We've had so many male athletes that reached out to us as well, of course. And so we have brought a few male athletes into the fold now in Colorado too.
Great.
And at the same time, there's been athletes across the country that said, hey, I travel to Colorado a lot because I ski or because of my team plays there. I'd love to be a part of this. This is really cool. I love Maxim. I love MaximBet. So we can't wait to expand the program as we continue to expand.
NIL deals, like I said, are very new to the sports world. And I'm curious, how much involvement does the NCAA have when these deals are executed? I mean, you're a business in the sports betting industry. Does the NCAA have to review these deals before they're executed? Do they get involved in the negotiation process? I mean, I'm just curious how much input NCAA has on the whole deal-making process.
We allow the student athlete to go to their compliance and determine if this is something that they can do. So we want to obviously follow the regulations and rules that are there. This is just another area where Colorado is very progressive. Colorado and the University of Colorado was the first to do a partnership with a sports betting company. Again, it's just another example of the state being very progressive. They want to allow the student athletes to benefit from their name, image, and likeness. We saw that as like, wow, what are the coincidences that our first state happens to be the state that is, I guess, most progressive in this area. And that's how things started to spiral and how we came up with the idea and the campaign. And so far, every student athlete that has contacted us when they've gone to their compliance office, it's been well received. Like, absolutely, here's maybe some parameters in which, some limitations of things they can do. And from our perspective, they have to be over 21, all the obvious things. But the NCAA allows the schools to determine those things in the state of Colorado, and that relationship has worked really, really well for us.
Does MaximBet have more plans for NIL deals as it expands to different states in the coming year?
100%.
Let's talk about that. We're at the beginning of the year 2022. What can we expect from MaximBet in the near future?
Yeah, like I touched on a little bit, Iowa and Indiana will be our next states. We'll be live in those before March Madness. That's another major moment on the sports calendar, one that's very exciting, and obviously one that very much involves the student athletes. So anticipate us looking to things around the NCAA athletes when that time is right, and as well as in our new markets when we open up in Indiana and Iowa and then New Jersey and the other. So it's important. Like, this is something just even we as a company felt was like long overdue for student athletes to benefit from this. And like we said, we felt that there wasn't quite enough opportunities there yet for the female athletes themselves. Very influential, they're empowered, and we wanted to show that. So leading with that was important to us, and that is the approach that we will continue to take.
Doug, we're running out of time, but if people want to get more information on MaximBet, what's the website they can go to so they can check it out?
Well, MaximBet.com, obviously, where you can go to just learn more about the company, as well as just find out how, our odds, the different sort of markets that we launch, some of the fun props that we include and that our traders do an excellent job of creating for our players. And then at the same time, follow us on social, Instagram or Twitter or TikTok, and our handle is @MaximBetUSA.
Doug Terfehr, MaximBet's Vice President of Communications and Brand. Thank you so much for coming on and telling us all about Maxim New Jersey. I can't wait for MaximBet to come here. And when it does, please come back on and give us an update of all the great things happening with MaximBet. Thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me, Dave. Take care.
Stick around. More Turnpike Sports right after this.
Attention. Here is something big banks don't want you to know about your IRA or 401k. You can store your retirement savings where you can actually see, touch, and hold it in your hands with a Paradigm Gold or Silver IRA. You can transfer a portion of your savings to physical gold and silver coin and store them where you can see them. The stock market is close to its all-time high, and your retirement might be at risk again. But you can trust Paradigm Gold Group to help.
Call 800-417-3932. 800-417-3932.
Paradigm Gold Group is a gold IRA leader, rated A+ by the Better Business Bureau, where gold and silver has been in the family business for over 40 years. Call for your free guide to Paradigm's Gold IRA. Protect your retirement savings today with Paradigm.
Call 800-417-3932. 800-417-3932.
With some of the best promotions and offers in the sports betting market, PointsBet simply stands out. PointsBet is the only U.S. online bookmaker to offer points betting, where every yard, every point, every goal, even every play matters. Same-game parlays, good karma payouts, early payouts, and exclusive game day promotions and guarantees for all sports. PointsBet offers more bet types than any other bookmaker in the world, offering a unique set of markets that aren't available anywhere else. And now PointsBet is offering one of the best sign-up offers in the sports betting market today. New customers signing up with code BET21 receive 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. Get up to $500 back if your first fixed odds bet loses, and up to $1,500 if your first points betting bet loses. That's code BET21 for 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000 at PointsBet. PointsBet, it pays to be fast. Must be 21 years or older and in New Jersey to place a bet. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Auto Accident Help Desk is a marketing agency connecting callers with attorneys. Providers pay a fee for advertising services.
I love getting my kids ready and driving them to school.
But a careless driver can change your life in an instant, and insurance companies want to settle on the cheap. Auto Accident Help Desk connects victims with powerful lawyers. They fight for you.
I called Auto Accident Help Desk and got help for my pain and suffering.
Don't let an insurance company take advantage of you. Our attorneys fight and beat big insurance every day.
Call 800-297-9766. 800-297-9766.
If you've been injured in an automobile accident in the last 6 months, you owe it to yourself to make this free call with no obligation. We're available 24/7 to help you get the money you deserve for your pain and suffering. Auto Accident Help Desk helps accident victims like you every day.
Call 800-297-9766. 800-297-9766. 800-297-9766.
It's a casino. People gotta win sometime.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a giant, colorful check to deposit.
Beatin The House is brought to you by BetMGM Casino. Play your favorite casino games at BetMGM Online Casino. Slots, table games, live dealer games, everything you love about Atlantic City and Vegas, all online at BetMGM. Don't wait. Join in the fun now. Go to BetMGM Casino, create an account using our promo code Turnpike, and become a verified player. New players get $25 free when signing up, plus a first deposit bonus up to $1,000. That's promo code Turnpike at BetMGM.com for a 100% deposit match up to $1,000 plus $25 free. Grab a lion's share of the fun at BetMGM.com. Must be 21 years or older to place a bet. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
And welcome to this week's Beatin the House, where we talk about the slot jackpot wins. We look at the bad beats. We look at basically any kind of money-winning event for a person out there in the United States, as well as all over the world, too. I think last week we had one from northern France for the first time.
Yeah.
So, but anytime you see a slot win or a Keno win, or a sports betting parlay win, that sort of thing, any kind of jackpot, we will be talking about it here. So, and we also always encourage all the companies out there, keep sending those press releases in, info@turnpikesportsradio.com, and we'll continue to talk about your jackpots on the air. We're going to start off down in Florida.
Oh, I think I heard about this one. Is this the two-time jackpot winner?
Florida woman hit $1 million at a Tampa casino and then did it again.
Wow. Unbelievable.
On January 9th, a Clearwater, Florida resident who went by the name Gloria, last name withheld, Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, Tampa. She won $1.045 million playing Aristocrats Gaming's Dragon Link progressive slot machine.
Okay.
Then she did it again. 18 days later. Oh, I'm sorry, I have it backwards. She did 18 days before that $1 million. She won $1.24 million on the same game. So she won two 1.x number $1 million jackpots in within 18 days of each other.
So, yeah, would you say the machine is Dragon Link?
Dragon Link Progressive Slot.
Yeah, during this segment, I tend to write down the name of the slot machines that these people win on because I'm going to try them out. So,
I have to take a look at this Dragon Link because
I've never heard of it before. What is this, Aristocrat?
It's Aristocrat. The same guys that do the Buffalo branded games.
You know, it's interesting on some of the online casinos in New Jersey, you can search the slot machines by the manufacturing name.
Yeah.
You know, it's great. You can just do like Aristocrat, and it comes up in some of these online casinos. So all their games come up, which is great. So I'm going to have to take a look for Dragon Link.
What's really interesting with some of these games that are on the online side, the amount of companies coming out with new games is incredible. Not only do you have Aristocrat, you got WMS, you got IGT, you got all these other guys. You got Wasden, you've got even stuff like GreenTube now is making deals to come into the United States.
Okay.
They got some really cool games. Going back to the Tampa jackpot, this was the third $1 million jackpot to hit on the Dragon Link slot game in less than 60 days.
Wow.
So
I am definitely checking out Dragon Link. So she won 2 jackpots in 18 days, huh?
1.24 and then 1.05.
Wow. Okay.
So that's what, $2.25 million that she won
I'm going
in
to
18
check out
days.
Dragon Link.
So Dragon Link might be a really good slot machine to check out, people. Seems to pay
Definitely.
out.
Hopefully it's online. I can check it out.
Well, we're going to go across the country to the Flamingo Las Vegas. A woman from Washington won a jackpot worth nearly $1 million while playing table games at the Flamingo.
Okay.
She was playing face-up Pai-Gow poker.
Wow.
Hit the progressive jackpot worth about $970,000 on a straight flush.
You know, I think I told you last week I tried Pai-Gow poker for the first time. It's an interesting game. Very interesting game. You really have to get your head around some of the strategy because you're actually kind of playing 2 hands at one time. So,
what's interesting about this
I can't imagine winning $1 million at it, but, it's interesting.
The last couple Pai-Gow poker jackpots we've talked about, because we've talked about a couple on the show here, they came with some of the side bets involved. This one has another side bet involved. She won even more money.
See, when I was playing Pai-Gow poker, I didn't fully understand it, so I wasn't making any side bets or anything like that.
Well, the straight flush came in the main game. She won another $5,000 in the form of what they call the fortune bonus. That's one of the side bets to the game.
Okay.
There are so many different side bets, and they're always developing new side bets for games like Pai-Gow poker. Mm-hmm. So it's one of those things where if you like playing the game just straight without any of the side bets, that's fine. You have a chance at winning money like this in a progressive.
Yeah.
If you're playing a progressive Pai-Gow. But you always got to check out the side bets, too.
It's an interesting strategy. You really have to wrap your head around it. So I'm still learning. So I'll keep reporting on it.
What makes this even more of a little knife turner for some people out there, it was her first time playing Pai-Gow poker.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's just incredible.
My first time, I think I broke even.
I just... those stories are great to begin with. Then you throw in, that's the first time I've ever played this
that's
game.
pretty cool that she, a first time, and she knew about the side bets and things like that. So,
well, I wonder
I
wonder if she took classes or read a book before playing.
Well, you can go, I mean, the casinos will teach you how to play.
That's what I'm saying. Did she take a class before she went, or did she read a book? There's sites out there that have all this instructional material on these things, too. So maybe she was studying up before she went to the casino.
There's a ton of ways to learn these games.
Let's stay in Vegas for the Green Valley Ranch Casino. Lucky gambler turned a $5 bet into more than $127,000 at the Green Valley Ranch Casino. He hit the progressive jackpot on the Lightning Link progressive slot on a $5 bet.
Wow.
$5 into $127,000.
That's great.
I mean, we've seen bigger jackpots on a $5 bet, but that's actually pretty good for...
I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'd be very happy with that.
No word on if this was his first time playing. I always like it when they throw that in, first time playing. So, but I always look for... I loved it in the Flamingo story. Didn't know whether or not this boarding pass member actually was playing it for the first time. Let's go over to Caesars now in Atlantic City.
All right.
Atlantic City had their Caesars Atlantic City had their first big jackpot winner. Actually, Atlantic City overall had its first big jackpot winner on the Mississippi Stud progressive game being played by this one person at Caesars Atlantic City. Placed a $5 bet and won $721,000.
Jeez,
it's the biggest jackpot in the young new year here. $721,000. It was part of the all-in table games progressive jackpot feature. It's a table game side bet that puts you into the running to win a jackpot that combines all of Caesars, Harrah's Resort, and Tropicana's.
Yeah, they're all part of Caesar now.
But you had to do this certain side bet
all right.
to get into this progressive.
So the $5 was a side bet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, the table games involved in this, you had to be playing either 4-card poker, Let It Ride, 3-card poker, Ultimate Texas Hold'em, Mississippi Stud Poker, or Texas Hold'em Poker, which those are the only games that are involved in this progressive, all-in table games progressive jackpot is what they call it at Caesars.
Okay.
So this person was playing the Mississippi Stud progressive, put $5 down, won $721,000.
Great.
Let's stay on the East Coast and move over to Pennsylvania. Dude, been doing a lot of this casino lately, the Twin Spires Online Casino.
Yeah, I'm hearing a lot about it.
They're starting to pay out a lot, which is kind of interesting. We have Lisa, last name withheld, won $100,000 playing Blue Ribbon, another slot machine.
Oh, it's a slot machine. I've never heard of that one. Okay.
Another online slot. Then Frank came along and snared a cool $50,000 from the Dancing Drums slot machine.
Ah, Dancing Drums.
No, you're confusing. This is not Dancing Drums Explosion. This is Dancing Drums.
I was playing Dancing Drum Explosions. Yeah, I played like about 10 minutes. I won a couple $100 on it.
Well,
unbelievable.
I had to look up the Blue Ribbon.
So I played Dancing Drums Explosion.
Yeah, that's the next level.
Dancing Drums.
This is just Dancing Drums.
All right.
But I had to look up Blue Ribbon because I've never really heard of it. And sad to say, I should have, because this is a very classic style slot machine from Every. It's the 3 reels. You know, it just looks like an old slot machine, one of the classic slot machines.
Okay.
It's got the old bells and whistles attached to it. Old school Lucky Sevens that are a part of everything. 3 different colors for the sevens, and single and double bars. When was the last time you saw that on an online slot machine?
We've probably seen this machine tons of times. We just didn't know it was called Blue Ribbon.
I've actually never seen it online, but then again, I stay awake from the old-style slot machines. I play those cascading ones, which are kind of fun to watch. I mean, just
what was that one you always play? It
had a Wild West theme, but also you had the old-fashioned one of the other slot machines.
Was it Divine Fortune?
Divine Fortune.
Okay.
But I still play even Bloodsuckers once in a while too, which has the bonus features. That's more of an old-style classic game, but
which is a vampire-themed.
Yes.
What is it?
Slot
vampire
machine.
Slot machine.
Yeah. I'm not fond of Bloodsuckers 2, by the way.
Okay.
Different.
There's a difference? Okay.
There's a different storyline.
Nothing like the classic Bloodsucker? Is that what you're talking about?
Exactly.
Okay. All right.
And we're going to finish up with 2 lottery stories this week. We're going down to North Carolina. A North Carolina man thought his $1 Cash 5 lottery ticket was no good and nearly tossed it in the trash. As a matter of fact, he did toss it into the trash.
Oof.
From different reports I've been reading. He threw it in there. The store clerk told him, you might not want to do that. So he took it out, showed it to the clerk. The clerk ran it, and he won $277,000 on that ticket.
I hope he gave a tip to the store clerk who suggested...
The store got a chunk of it anyway.
Yeah, I know. But, boy, that's a good move by the store clerk. Good for him.
Well, again...
Good for him or her, whoever the store clerk was.
You know what? That's a very honest store clerk because he could have actually waited for the guy to leave and dug it out of the trash and checked it himself. But
he was an honorable, or they were an honorable store clerk, and they did the right thing.
And we're going to end with a little summary from the Virginia Lottery. In their 2021 year in review, they ran through the amount of players. They did a basic year-end summary of everything. 255,300 players played on the Virginia Lottery online last year. Virginia Cash Expander was the most popular online lottery instant game. I like how they're basically slot machines, but they call them lottery instant games online. So Powerball, most played draw game. Total online wins over 550,000. wins. Biggest instant game win. Devontae J. of Petersburg won $238,000 playing Cash Buster Multiplier. And Queen of Diamonds was their most popular online instant game. Mega Millions had the most wins for draw games. And total amount of prizes won online in 2021, $975 million.
Wow, great.
So that's the year-end summary from the Virginia Lottery. Again, any of your jackpot wins, please forward them over to us. Keep those press releases coming in. info@turnpikesportsradio.com.
Our NFL picks are next, so stick around. We'll be right back with more Turnpike Sports.
Attention Medicare recipients and anyone turning 65. Medicare has approved new benefits not included with original Medicare and older Medicare Advantage plans. You may not be getting all of the benefits you're entitled to, including in-home aids, telephone appointments with your doctors, home-delivered meals and prescriptions. These benefits may be available and it's a free call to enroll. The new plans may also offer free eyeglasses, free hearing aids, free wellness visits, and gym memberships. Call the Medicare benefits line now. It's easy. Call 800-217-1797. 800-217-1797. Find out if you're eligible for new benefits like meal and prescription delivery, in-home aids, and telemedicine. Some plans may have a $0 monthly premium or zero copays for big out-of-pocket savings. Not all Medicare Advantage plans are alike. The new plans have more benefits for many people. Call 800-217-1797. 800-217-1797. 800-217-1797.
This week's Turnpike Sports Pro Pick segment is brought to you by BetMGM Online Sportsbook. Get ready to turn big plays into paydays. New customers, start with a risk-free bet up to $1,000. Simply sign up with promo code Turnpike, make a deposit, and place your first wager. If the bet loses, you'll receive the amount of your wager back in free bets. That's a risk-free bet up to $1,000 with your first deposit at BetMGM Online Sportsbook when using our code Turnpike when you register. Bet with confidence and go all in on all the action with the king of sportsbooks. BetMGM. Must be at least 21 years or old to place a bet. Terms and conditions apply. New customers only. Problem gambler. Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
And welcome to the divisional round pro pick segment of Turnpike Sports. Again, it's one of those situations where you have great games coming up, but you don't know. You really don't know.
Let me tell you something. I have a feeling that these games will be a lot better than last week. I think these teams are light years above the teams that lost last week, and it's just I think there's going to be some great football this weekend.
Well, if you go by the point spreads that we're seeing, which are all very close point spreads, there's no point spread that's kind of a blowout. If you look at what we had last weekend with the 12.5 spreads,
I think the biggest point spread was 5.5 I saw.
Well, according to some of the reports out there, this is almost a near historic low in terms of combined opening point spreads.
Well, I hope that's an indication of some great playoff football.
Here, listen to these numbers. The combined opening point spread of the divisional round, this was opening after the Monday night game, it was a combined 14 points. All the point spreads added up to 14 points.
Very low.
The historic low happened in 1971 where it was 13.5 points.
Wow, okay.
Over the last 15 years, the average combined point spreads for opening point spreads was 27 points, and the low during that 15-year span was 21 points.
Okay, so we're expecting some tight games.
Yeah, and also just to show you how tight these are getting, we're going to be using the BetMGM points. We're going to be doing the Wednesday points on January 19th. The total combined point spreads was 10.5.
Okay.
I added them together. So I don't know exactly what's going to happen. Again, you may see some blowouts.
Well, look,
you hope you don't.
We deserve some good football games after last weekend because that was just ridiculous.
Well, speaking of last weekend,
yes,
let's do our records. We both went 1-2.
Mm-hmm. I really thought the Rams-Cardinals game would go over the 50. And it would have if Arizona decided to show up to the game. But, hey,
again, what
are you going to do?
I guess you can say that's the beauty of Wild Card Weekend. Anything can happen.
That's why they call it gambling.
Yes. And total for the season, and I'm including regular season and playoffs as we go along here.
Okay.
You're still leading 30, 24, and 3. That's your record.
Okay.
I'm 27, 29, and 1. I was just very happy to win a game after going 0-3 the last 2 weeks of the regular season. So
you're starting to get back on track.
I'm hoping. I hope I do better this divisional round. And since you went first last week, I'll go first this week.
Okay. And I'm sure we're going to cover some of the same games because we almost have to. So whatever game you pick, and if I picked it, I'll do that game.
All righty. I'm going to start off with the game everyone thought should be the AFC Championship game. Buffalo Bills visiting Kansas City Chiefs. Right now there is a 1.5-point favorite for the Chiefs and an over-under of 54.5.
I did not take this game, believe it or not.
I actually thought this might be the best game of the weekend, to be honest, with both offenses. Both offenses have been scoring crazy. The Kansas City beat the Steelers 42-21. That game wasn't even that close because Pittsburgh didn't bother showing up there either. The Bills took out the Patriots 47-17. We already talked about that at the top of the show. I just think these two teams' offenses are clicking. They're scoring points. They're doing everything possible to make the games exciting on their side of the ball offensively. I think that the difference is going to come down to the defenses. I think the Buffalo Bills defense is probably playing the best of any defense out there right now. You go back to Week 6 when they played each other. The Bills won by 18 points, 38-20, and they were 2.5-point underdogs in Kansas City at that time. Here they're 1.5-point underdogs.
Okay.
The road team in this series between these two teams, 9-3 against the spread. The Bills are 6-2 against the spread in their last 8 in Kansas City as well. And given the fact that it's not even a 3-point favorite for Kansas City, they're not even getting a home field advantage here. I'm going with Buffalo plus 1.5.
All right, my game is Cincinnati Bengals versus the Tennessee Titans, who are favored by 3.5 points, and they have a total in that game of 46.5 points. I love the way the Bengals have been playing over these last couple of weeks, and I know Derrick Henry will be returning for the Tennessee Titans, but I'm really curious how effective he's going to be and how much he's going to play. The Bengals are 6-1 against the spread in their last 7 road games and 5-0 against the spread in their last 5 overall games. I think the Bengals can certainly win this game, and I certainly think that they're going to cover. I'm loving the Cincinnati Bengals in this game. The underdog Cincinnati Bengals, by the way.
Well, I did this game too, so I'll do this next.
Okay.
Again, you went through the spread. It's 3.5 over under 46.5. Again, they're 5. The Cincinnati Bengals are 5-0 against the spread in their last 5 games. 3-0 against the spread on the road. The Titans had a good bye last week. They needed the rest. They got Derrick Henry coming back. Supposedly he's been practicing. I don't know if exactly how much he's going to be able to play.
Is he in game shape? I don't think he might be in game shape, but hey, 50% Derrick Henry is probably better than 50% of the running backs out there. So
I saw a couple of reports that Vrabel's over there having him do contact drills right off the bat just to get him game ready. So I would assume he's playing. Don't know how much.
By the way, hopefully Vrabel is coach of the year because I have some bets on him.
Well, he's playing. He's
That's an aside.
Doing a great job there. I think maybe the opposing coach maybe.
And I'm still going against him in this game.
Well, I'm looking at. I did want to take the spread here, but the way Cincinnati's offense has been playing, I don't think the defensive backs can keep up with Jamar Chase, the wide receiver from Cincinnati,
who'll probably be the rookie of the year.
Could very well be. So instead of taking the spread, I went with the over 46.5 in this game.
All right, my next game is the San Francisco 49ers versus the Green Bay Packers, who are favored by 5.5 points with a total of 47.5 points. Looking at a playoff game at Lambeau Field, the Green Bay Packers are really tough to beat, and the 49ers are really coming into this game with some injuries at some key positions. And I know Jimmy Garoppolo's beat up too. Get this, the Packers are 7-1 against the spread in their last 8 home games and are 4-0 against the spread in their last 4 divisional playoff games. I think the Packers are going to win this one by at least a touchdown, so I'm taking the Green Bay Packers and laying the points.
And for my last game, I took this game as well.
All right.
Same thing. Green Bay favored by 5.5. I think it's going to be at least a touchdown. Weather is going to be a huge factor in this. Mm-hmm. If this is going to be a snowy, wintry type game like they had in Buffalo against the Patriots, I don't see the 49ers really doing that offense that they do so well, especially with Deebo Samuel in the backfield. I just think the Green Bay Packers at the beginning of the season, I was not a believer in Green Bay. I thought they were the worst team with a winning record out there. Defense has started playing good. That offense is clicking. I'm just can't see Green Bay losing at Lambeau in the playoffs. So Green Bay 5.5.
My last game is the Los Angeles Rams versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are favored by 3 points, and the total is 48.5 points. Look, if there were ever two playoff teams that could put a bunch of points on the board, it's these two. I think these teams will push each other, and they'll score a lot of points, and this one won't be decided until late in the fourth quarter. Brady and the Buccaneers certainly can put a lot of points on the board, and the Rams have hit the over 7-3-1 in their last 11 games. I expect a lot of points for this game. And you know what? I was looking at the point spread. Tampa Bay is favored by 3. If it was 3.5, I'd take a look at the Rams, but it's not 3.5 when I saw it, so I'm taking the over 48.5.
Okay, let's recap. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I'm taking the underdog Cincinnati Bengals to cover the 3.5 points against the Tennessee Titans. I'm taking the Green Bay Packers with a point spread of 5.5 over the San Francisco 49ers. And I'm taking the over 48.5 points in the Rams-Buccaneers game.
And I'm taking the Bills plus 1.5, the underdog Bills, which really shouldn't be that way. Then I'm going to do the over 46 in the 46.5 in the Cincinnati-Tennessee game, and Green Bay favored by 5.5 over the Niners. These picks will be up on the blog after the show publishes. Head on over to TurnpikeSportsRadio.com and click on the blog button. You'll see the print version of those there. And also, if you're following along on TV, you'll see these picks up on the screen as we go through them. That way you can follow along there as well. And you can always check us out at Turnpike Sports on Twitter, at Turnpike Bets at Twitter as well, at Turnpike Sports Radio on Instagram, and at Turnpike Sports on Facebook. And as always, the email address is info@turnpikesportsradio.com.
The book report's next, so stick around. We'll be right back with more Turnpike Sports.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited.
They do not give up until you pay.
They put a lien on my house.
How about you? Do you owe back taxes? Call Tax Solutions now and get some help. For a limited time, the IRS offers a tax forgiveness program called the Fresh Start Initiative. Our team can make it easier for you to pay back taxes, avoid tax liens, and get a fresh start. Sometimes you just need a second chance.
I call Tax Solutions now, and they got the IRS off my back.
At Tax Solutions Now, our affiliates are all accredited by the Better Business Bureau and members of the National Association of Tax Professionals.
We saved our home and overcame the most powerful collection agency in the world.
Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now. Call 800-299-1132. 800-299-1132. 800-299-1132. 800-299-1132.
The Turnpike Sports Book Report.
The Turnpike Sports Book Report is brought to you by BorgataSports.com. Your favorite casino is now your favorite sportsbook. Available anywhere in New Jersey, BorgataSports.com. Sign up at BorgataSports.com using our promo code PIKE, that's P-I-K-E. Make your first wager of $20 or more and you'll get $100 in free bets. That's $100 in free bets when your first wager on Borgata Sports is $20 or more. Get into the action with BorgataSports.com. Must be 21 years or older and in New Jersey to place a bet. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
And welcome to this week's edition of the Turnpike Sports Book Report, where we go through the national and state sports betting reports. Got a bunch of those to talk about. There's also some new sports book launch announcements and also a lot of deals and legislation to discuss right now. I thought we'd start right off the bat with the national scene in terms of some of the commercial gaming revenue announcements that came out from the American Gaming Association. This includes sports betting, iGaming, all the traditional casinos. Let me just read a couple stats to you.
These numbers were huge.
According to the American Gaming Association, commercial gaming revenue saw its second highest grossing month ever in November. They hit $4.85 billion. That's November alone.
Mm-hmm.
They also announced that in December of 2021, and there's still some sectors still reporting some numbers out there, commercial gaming industry officially crossed the $50 billion annual revenue mark.
That's incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Previous record was 2019 with $43.65 billion. They just blew right by that one.
Yeah.
And they're still reporting numbers.
Sure. That might even grow. Who knows?
I don't know if it's going to hit 60, but
I
think
that,
60
but...
may be an actual realistic
now we're
number
getting greedy.
the next.
We should be happy with $50 billion.
I think 60 may be a realistic number coming into 2022, especially now with New York with the mobile sports betting. Let's talk about New York, because New York had a very interesting launch. They had a whole bunch of different sports books launch, 4 of them. By the time this airs, there's a 5th one now. It's already expanded.
Mm-hmm.
BetMGM. We're going to see probably another 4 more coming in at some point. They're doing a rollout for some of these. But BetMGM launched on January 17th, Monday. And they join Caesars, BetRivers, or Rush Street Interactive, of DraftKings and FanDuel.
Yes.
As the New York mobile sports betting quintet right now. According to some of the numbers, some really interesting numbers, which kind of tells you the strength of the New York market right off the bat. BetRivers reported almost $1 million in betting the very first day they launched.
Oh, the first weekend was incredible, I heard. I mean, it was just amazing.
Well, think about that number, $1 million in a day for BetRivers.
Sure.
That's one of 4 sports books. If it stays at $1 million a day, you're looking at $365 million handle for an entire year.
I'm not sure if it's going to stay $1 million a day. That's the question about these numbers. Is this a shiny new toy for New York citizens and people in New York, or will these numbers level off? I mean, right now there's no sign of these numbers leveling off, but it'd be hard to believe that they sustain these kind of numbers. I hope they do. It'd be great for the industry, but we have to see how this goes on.
Well, Caesars reported over the first weekend entirely over 1 million bets. They didn't say how much of a handle they had, but they had 1 million bets placed.
1 million transactions?
Transactions.
Is that what they're talking about? Okay.
So that'll be an interesting number to see exactly how they did over the first weekend. But just by extrapolating a BetRivers amount, $365 million handle for a year, you multiply that by 5. Because you have 5 books.
Okay, yeah, I know, but
I think that's
pie in the sky thinking. But I hope they do it. Hey, but I'm not sure if these numbers will sustain. You get into April and May and like the dog days of summer, and how much will everyone bet on baseball and things like that. So it'll be interesting to see how these numbers shape out throughout the year. Hopefully they maintain this level, but it's hard to maintain a level, especially when it's the first weekend. It's a new thing to a lot of people, and we'll see how this goes.
It'll be very interesting to see how New York does with not only the Super Bowl but with March Madness, the 2 biggest sports betting events of the year, and they've launched in time for both of these. And that's what the legislators wanted. They wanted to be able to capture these 2 events right off the bat. They're doing it. If these numbers are this dramatic leading up to these 2 events, how much of a dramatic fall-off are they going to have when there's less sports on the calendar?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Hopefully they maintain themselves. But, it's like I said, it's a shiny new toy right now, and hopefully they maintain it, but who knows?
Here's another question. It's winter. Cold months. No one wants to go out. What happens during the summer when these guys from New York decide to go back into Jersey, not only for the northern sportsbook up there for some, outside events, but also Atlantic City for the weekend.
Sure.
Yeah,
or the Jersey. Well, look, I know a lot of people are going to have an account in New York and an account in Jersey because look, a lot of people who work in New York live in New Jersey, so they spend time in both states, sometimes daily. So and also Connecticut. Don't forget Connecticut. A lot of people who work in New York City or work around the New York metropolitan area in New York State, they live in New Jersey or Connecticut.
I wonder, given the fact that you have 3 different states, actually 4 if you count Pennsylvania, with all these 4 sports books in it, or the major 3.
I would love a shared wallet. Because
See,
we're in
New
New York all the time and things like that. I would love a shared wallet where I don't have to have a New York app and a New Jersey app.
This is my point. Keeping it as separate wallets, does that increase their customer share in each state?
Mm-hmm.
If you have a shared wallet, you really don't have a chance to sign them up in different states.
Well, let me tell you something. A shared wallet, it makes for accounting hell because New York has a different tax rate than New Jersey. New York has a 51% tax rate. So, it's one of those things, if you have a shared wallet, between 2 states, it'll be tough. It'll be a tougher accounting than keeping them separate.
That's true. And my point is, it's an easier customer acquisition angle if you keep them as separate wallets, because if you're traveling into Jersey from New York, you need a New Jersey account. So you have to sign up in New Jersey as well as New York. If you are in Connecticut and you already have a Connecticut account, you go into New York to work. If you want to do something during the day while you're at work, you got to sign up for a New York account. There's customer acquisition angles here that I don't know if anyone's actually analyzed this yet.
Well, I brought this up in an interview I did recently that the morning of the New York launch, I live in New Jersey and I have a FanDuel New Jersey account. And I got an email saying, if you have one of your friends sign up who's in New York, you both get $50. And, wow, I was like, is this a thing that crosses state lines? I'm in New Jersey, but if I get someone to sign up in New York who's a New York resident and who plays in New York, we both get $50. So, and I brought up during the interview, I live very close to the Pennsylvania border. And I never got in. I don't remember getting a offer like this when Pennsylvania started. So I think that's how special New York is.
It's also a matter of how savvy the marketing side of these people are getting.
Sure.
They're learning to cross the state borders without having to run into problems and to run across state borders.
It was very interesting. So if I have a friend who's in New York and who signs up in New York, they get $50 in, I guess, their New York account, and I guess I get $50 in my New Jersey account. So, that's how I read it.
I think it'll be interesting to see. I really want to see how the industry handles the non-Super Bowl March Madness timing events, because, again, will the summer months allow people to go out more, allow people to travel more? Less sports to bet on.
Well, look, that's why it was so important for New York to get mobile. You can do it on your phone, and you can travel.
Especially in the winter.
Yeah.
Because in New York, northwest New York, you don't want to be out in the winter sometimes because that's freezing cold like you wouldn't believe. But, it's going to be kind of fun to see exactly what happens here.
Absolutely.
Let's stay on the East Coast, go down to New Jersey, because New Jersey just released their betting numbers. Oh, wait, before I go to New Jersey, one note that just came in the morning here, we're taping this. Caesars Entertainment announced that they are now a official mobile sports betting partner of the Buffalo Bills.
All right.
They made this announcement, and just for transparency, we're taping this before the wild card game that the Buffalo Bills are involved in. This is basically the same type of deal that all these sports books do with these teams, where it's naming rights to a sportsbook lounge, as well as logos, the normal IP stuff and marketing activations. The one thing that makes this interesting, a little different than a lot of the other sports team deals that we've seen, the deal actually reaches not only New York citizens, but it will reach into Canada, because the Buffalo Bills have a huge following in Canada.
Oh, sure.
And I think that actually will go a long way with when single event sports betting commercially launches in Canada.
Well, look, Caesars is doing a lot of deals in New York. Well, first they have the former Rangers goalie Henrik Lundqvist as an ambassador.
That's
and now
another deal there.
Now they have the Buffalo Bills. I think they're really making their presence felt in New York, and good for them.
And don't forget, they're one of the sports books that did a deal with Madison Square Garden Entertainment for the teams. I can't remember if they're the ones or one of the other ones have the Zamboni sponsorship. I still find that very unique.
I remember there's a sports book that now I have to watch the Rangers game, so just to watch the Zamboni.
One of them,
I don't see the Zamboni a lot on TV.
No, but maybe now they will. Maybe now they will because they have a sports book.
Now, yeah.
Maybe that's part of the activation.
Yeah.
Who knows? But again, there's also one of them that's on the basketball net stanchion.
Sure.
So, kind of interesting to see that. So many different deals going on with New York. It's like another wild, wild west situation here where it's a land grab, basically. But like I said, we're moving down to New Jersey. New Jersey just released their December numbers. And if anybody was anticipating a bad month by New Jersey, think again. They had their fourth consecutive $1 billion handle month.
Wow.
They reported a handle of, I believe it was, I'm going to get the number right here, $1.229 billion in handle.
Wow.
And that's down from November.
We're slumping in New Jersey here.
Online handle is still huge, $1.11 billion. That was almost, 90-something percent, 95% of the overall handle in New Jersey is still mobile.
Okay.
Like I said, they were the fourth straight $1 billion month. That fourth straight month allowed them to become the first state in the U.S. sports betting industry to clear $10 billion handle in a calendar year.
Wow. Okay.
No one's done that yet in the post-PASPA era.
Okay.
So you got to clarify that this is the post-PASPA U.S. sports betting industry that we're going to talk about. Jersey was the first $10 billion a year handle state. They also are the first state to clear $100 million in tax revenue in a calendar year. That's kind of an interesting thing because everyone focuses on the handle, and really the number that's important for the state is not only the tax revenue but also the sportsbook revenue. The sportsbook revenue itself controls what the state gets.
Sure.
And that sounds like common sense when you think about it, but people are so fascinated with this handle number.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an incredible number. Another little stat for New Jersey. New Jersey now holds 8 of the nation's top 10 places for sports betting handle.
Okay.
Nevada has 2.
See, I'm curious how that's going to change. I'm curious of how that's going to change now that New York is in play. Now that the New York mobile sports betting market has been launched. I'm very curious to see how that works out.
I'm very curious to see if Connecticut's affected right off the bat. Connecticut just really recently launched in October for their sports betting market. And I wonder how much New York is going to impact not just Jersey, Pennsylvania, Connecticut. Could they even affect New Hampshire?
No. New Hampshire is so
the Massachusetts
weird.
Residents that go to New Hampshire to bet, will they go to New York now?
Yeah, no.
If you're in Western Mass and you're like past the Berkshires, past Springfield, are you going to cross the border to go into New York, or are you going to go travel northeast and go up to New Hampshire?
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you much prefer to go to New York than to New Hampshire, but it depends on which part of the state you live in.
Well, let's stop talking some numbers here. One last number. New Hampshire lottery.
Okay, well, we talked about New Hampshire.
They are the 12th state to reach $1 billion in the post-PASPA era in terms of handle.
Congratulations.
They did it in 24 months, 2 years. So
what is that? $1 billion in handle?
$1 billion in handle.
Okay.
24 months. Before we get into some of the legislation, some of the other deals, 2 sports books announced, or I should say 2 states had announcements regarding sportsbook launches, physical launches of actual retail sports books. Connecticut and Arizona.
Okay.
BetMGM and the Arizona Cardinals, this is Arizona obviously since I just said Arizona Cardinals, they released the renderings of the BetMGM sportsbook scheduled to be in the Cardinals Stadium. It's State Farm Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be the first sports book at an NFL stadium. They're going to have the honor of having the very first sports book.
Okay.
Everybody else has sports book lounges.
They will actually have a sports book.
It will be part of the stadium.
Okay.
So, and I looked at the renderings. If anyone has a chance, take a look at the renderings. It's a very nice sports book that they've designed. It's going to have 2 entrances. It's going to allow people to actually watch the game from the sports book itself. So that's going to be kind of Arizona's going to be a great market. They're already approaching $1 billion.
They're already a great market, and they're going to get better.
And Connecticut, the Capital Region Development Authority released the renderings of the sports book that's being built at the XL Center in Hartford. Now, on our trips back and forth, we always go past the XL Center.
It's like right off the highway. It's maybe 2 blocks off the highway.
It will not look like this anymore. The way the current
they're
look,
going to really redo it. Huh?
They're going to do an entire building encased in glass kind of thing.
All right,
and it's going to be built over some of the current existing parts of the XL Center, like the loading bays. They're going to have different entrances. It's going to be overlooking the arena. They're really going to do a nice job, and I think it's going to be kind of fun. I'm trying to figure out. They haven't said whether it's going to be a Connecticut Lottery branded. I would assume it's going to be a Play Sugar House branded book, since that's the deal with the Connecticut Lottery. It's Rush Street Interactive.
Okay. All right.
So they haven't announced whether or not that's going to be a Play Sugar House or just going to be XL Center.
Okay.
So it'll be kind of interesting.
I've never been to the XL Center. I've driven past it many times, and I've never been there.
It's a smaller type arena. It's like a TD Garden light, if you want to do it that way, or the Wells Fargo Center. Think of a smaller version of the Wells Fargo Center.
Okay.
That sort of setup there. Couple of interesting little pieces of legislation that were introduced.
Mm-hmm.
One in Virginia. I don't know if this is going to pass or not. Virginia Senate Republican leader Tommy Norment filed Senate Bill 96, which would allow the state to fine sports betting and casino companies or their affiliates up to $50,000 per violation for using the words Virginia or the Commonwealth in their advertising campaigns.
Okay.
Kind of an interesting.
Why would you want to? I guess he's really against sports betting, huh?
Or he didn't get the sports betting type he wanted or something.
Why would you not? Why would you not want to get people to Virginia or the Commonwealth?
He must have a huge anti-gambling base he's trying to appease, or maybe it's something else. They don't really express what their reasons are for doing a bill like this, but it's the first state I've seen that doesn't want their state mentioned in the advertising.
You want people to come to your states, to go to the casinos and go to the sports books. I'm surprised they would not want Virginia or the Commonwealth mentioned. Interesting.
Yeah, it's something different. I've never seen legislation like this. Maybe
how do they give the address of or the mailing thing? I don't know. I guess it's only for commercials, or
it will test the ingenuity of the marketing arm of the sports books. If
can you mention
passes.
The town? Or?
I don't know. That's he was focused more on Virginia and the Commonwealth.
Interesting.
I don't understand really the reasoning behind it, but
you would think the Bureau of Virginia Tourism would not like that bill,
unless the Virginia Tourism is behind some of this push here. Maybe they don't want to be associated with sports betting. I don't know.
It's a very interesting bill.
Virginia's always been an interesting state. I'm curious to see what happens when the casinos come in, because they're in the process of getting actual brick and mortar casinos coming in. So, in New Jersey, going back to Jersey again, New Jersey State Senator Troy Singleton introduced a bill that would redirect the 1.25% tax on sports betting that currently goes to the Casino Reinvestment Development Authority to the city itself of Atlantic City for local property tax relief. That's kind of I don't know if that's a lateral move in terms of the money being spent. I know the CRDA just really focuses on the casino area of New Jersey, of Atlantic City, not the actual housing, not the city itself.
If you invest in the Casino Reinvestment Development Authority, you invest in that, they'll build up the casino industry more in Atlantic City, and you'll get more tax relief and tax money from the increased casino reinvestment. So I'm not sure why he'd want to do something like that. But
again, he may have an Atlantic City constituency that he's focusing on.
Mm-hmm.
Could be multiple reasons. Let's talk a few deals here because we had some interesting deals being thrown out there. We just talked about Caesars with the Buffalo Bills. You mentioned the Caesars with the Lundqvist deal that
Henrik
they did.
Lundqvist.
Yep.
What do they call them? An ambassador kind of thing?
They're an ambassador.
Is that the
yes.
ambassador role for him?
They're ambassadors.
Yep.
Let's see. Oregon, I guess you can call this a partnership announcement or deal. DraftKings on January 18th became, however this is going to air, it's going to be on January 18th, DraftKings is the official sportsbook provider of the Oregon Lottery, replacing Scoreboard.
Okay.
Everyone seemed to have trouble with Scoreboard.
So, Scoreboard was their one and only app, right?
It was the only sports betting option.
That's what I mean, the one and only app. So,
and a lot of people complained that, the line set up by the Scoreboard app or the Scoreboard entity was not very good. We're not very good in terms of the rest of the nation.
I've heard about it. I've never seen it, so I really can't speak on that. But I know that was the thing out there. So,
well, you're going from
guess not anymore, huh?
No, you're going from Scoreboard as the exclusive sports betting provider to DraftKings.
Well, that's good. If you want a exclusive sportsbook provider, DraftKings would be the one. Just ask New Hampshire.
Well, this is their second exclusive deal.
Yeah, good for them.
I wonder if there's going to be other states that want something like this. And one sports betting operator. I mean, it's working for New Hampshire because it's a tiny state in terms of population.
Yeah.
I think it's Oregon's like 3 or 4 times, or maybe more than that, times more populous than New Hampshire. So, and New Hampshire's just hitting $2 billion in 2 years handle.
No.
So,
DraftKings should do well out there.
There may be. I'm curious to see what they do with the retail book side, though, because right now I believe it's only just the Native American tribes that have sports betting in their casinos.
Okay.
FanDuel and the PGA Tour have agreed to a 3-year extension to their sports betting sponsorship partnership.
Great.
FanDuel will remain the official sports betting operator of the PGA Tour until 2024. Kind of a short-term deal in terms of what everybody else has been doing.
Betting on golf is fun. I really like that. It is made for in-play betting. It
is kind of a sport that's set up like that, just like baseball too.
Yeah. Those are the two best.
I hate to say it this way, but the two slow-moving sports.
Well, that's what you want. You want to have time to place a bet on the what's happening in the action during the game.
PointsBet Canada is making deals. They announced a multi-year deal with the NHL Alumni Association, designating PointsBet Canada as their exclusive sports betting partner in North America, Canada, as well as the United States. Hockey is big up there, as everyone knows.
Really?
I don't need to really say that.
There's a news breaking thing.
But I want to talk about this other deal PointsBet Canada did. Very different. Out of the box thinking. I have to commend PointsBet Canada. It sounds hilarious what they've done here, but it actually makes a lot of sense in terms of reaching an ever-growing base of possible sports bettors, especially in Canada.
Okay.
They announced an exclusive partnership with the Canadian TV comedy series Trailer Park Boys.
So what's going to happen? The Trailer Park Boys will be
doing
betting?
They're going to be doing content collaborations. They're doing advertising campaigns.
All right.
They're going to be doing activations because supposedly this is a very popular show up there.
Hey, good.
It's about a bunch of guys living in a trailer park, obviously, and it goes through. It's a mockumentary kind of series where they just go through stupid. It's almost like a Spinal Tap.
Okay.
For the trailer park crowd, I guess you can say it that way. But I took a look at the series, and they have a huge following in Canada. On Twitter, they have 230,000 followers. Instagram, 712,000 followers. They have 308,000, or give or take, subscribers on their YouTube channel, and 2 million Facebook followers.
Wow. Okay.
So it kind of
that's great product placement for PointsBet.
That's what I'm saying. It's out of the box thinking.
Yeah.
It's still the same type of deal that they're doing, but it's just in a different area. And this is not on network TV. It's on a streaming channel kind of thing. One of the, I guess it's like on one of the OTT channels up there.
I guess I can get on my smart TV and check out Trailer Park Boys, right?
Yes. You can.
Has this deal started yet, or have
they already announced it on their Twitter feeds and their YouTube channel, and
so in upcoming episodes, I'll be able to see some PointsBet.
I don't know
PointsBet content.
You're going to see something about PointsBet in there. I don't know exactly what you're going to be seeing, but moving on to a couple other deals that were announced. Penn National Gaming joined the American Gaming Association's Have a Game Plan, Bet Responsibly program. They're going to have responsible gambling content on its Barstool Sportsbook platforms, social media accounts, and they're also going to be doing some brick-and-mortar activations. Also, one last note before we get out of here for the day, Fubo TV. They have acquired the exclusive broadcasting rights in Canada for English Premier League soccer.
Wow, that's big. I love Fubo TV.
It's perfect because they are doing they're incorporating their sports book into their stream.
Mm-hmm.
So they will be they're going to be the only ones showing English Premier League.
Great.
And there's a big soccer following in Canada especially for the Premier League. And I think that was a great first step for Fubo TV to get into the Canadian market by having a leg up, no pun intended, on the competition for soccer. So that's it for this week's book report. There's plenty of other stories we did not hit. You can check out the print version, turnpikesportsradio.com. Click on the blog button. It'll be there. Also, if you're following along on TV, there's even more stories that we did not talk about on the news ticker that we have along the bottom of the screen for the show on your Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire, and also even the YouTube channel we have.
Well, that'll do for us this week. We'll see you next time on the Turnpike.